Welcome to this edition of Northwest Real Estate Forum. Whether you are buying, selling, or sitting on the sidelines, we bring you experts with up-to-date information on what is impacting your biggest asset, your home. Joining us today is Jess Nelson of Nelson Building Consulting. Jess has been doing building inspections since 1993. Jess has a degree in construction technology and was the third generation in his family to run a successful contracting business. Jess prides himself on giving his clients a fair evaluation of a home, not an exaggeration or minimizing problems. His experience, philosophy, and personality make him a great advocate for his clients in what can be a very stressful situation, the home inspection. Welcome, Jess.
Thank you.
So what has changed in the home inspection industry recently that our viewers should know about?
Licensing for sure. Washington State requires home inspectors to be fully licensed. In order to do that, they have to pass a pretty difficult test, be involved in continuing education, do kind of an internship with another home inspector, and continuing education.
I didn't know about the internship. That's a big improvement.
That's for inspectors that are just getting into it. It's grandfathered for the inspectors that have had several hundred inspections, but for the newer inspectors, they have to do a...
Well, that's good. Coming from the real estate broker's perspective, a new inspector can be a disaster. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what are the most common problems that you're seeing today when you're doing home inspections? And what can buyers or sellers do to prevent those?
Well, for a long time it was synthetic stucco, EIFS, LP siding, Louisiana Pacific siding, and those problems have started to self-correct. Builders are using better materials and methods. Now we're getting back to the water problems again, water in crawl spaces, moisture intrusion from poor flashing, failed caulking in bathrooms, simple things like leaking gutters or missing splash blocks.
So if a homeowner could just sort of walk around when they're thinking of putting their house on the market, they could check out some of these things and then solve the problem before the home inspection.
Certainly, especially the crawl space. And if that's not something that they're comfortable doing, having someone come out and look in there and take care of those problems before, it's a bigger problem.
Yeah, because what happens with buyers is sometimes they get scared when they hear water in the crawl space or they hear a leak and there's a flashing. But some of those are pretty simple things to correct, and they may not have long-term damage.
Right, exactly. The second problem that we also mostly see in crawl spaces and sometimes attics is rodent infestations. And that can scare a lot of clients. A lot of people will walk away when they hear, Norway rat or something like that. And it's the same thing, investigating those areas, looking in the attic, looking in the crawl space. And a lot of times it's as simple as a missing vent screen, or a little penetration around a pipe or something where they're getting in. Cleanups can be costly, so getting on that sooner rather than later is a great idea.
Yeah, I remember I had a listing, a client had 4 cats, and they were outside a lot of the time. But when we sold their house, there was a rat nest in the attic, and the cats never saw it, never cared about it, and it was long there.
Yeah, funny how that works.
Yeah, those cats aren't always the best. So the third thing is, if you could give a buyer advice when they're approaching a home inspection. I mean, the process of buying a home can be very nerve-wracking and it's very stressful. So when it comes to the home inspection, sometimes they get a little bit nervous. What advice can you give them to prepare for the home inspection and during the home inspection?
The biggest thing is to be there, because some clients, they don't want to be there, and to interact with the inspector, and to not have the notion that there's a perfect home, because there's not. There's going to be issues. There's going to be things written up that have to be addressed, and talking with the inspector to understand the significance, especially if it's safety, and then after safety, of course, comes cost. But if it's, a shock hazard or carbon monoxide poisoning or something along that line, certainly want that addressed. And then interacting, and sometimes men have that problem. We throw a term out like scupper or heat exchanger or a collar tie or something that, they don't want to, well, what is that? I'm not sure what it is, and they're kind of looking at their wife, and just ask and leave there knowing, what the problems are.
Yeah,
and
one
their
of the things I
significance.
like about working with you, and we've done a number of inspections with you, representing both the buyer side and the seller side, is that you explain the difference between a safety, a structural, a normal maintenance issue, a postponed maintenance issue. And I think that will help the buyer really evaluate the home. If it's a structural problem, can it be addressed? If it can't be addressed, then you might need to walk away. Or if it's a maintenance issue that has caused some damage like a leak in a roof, then you can talk to them about, okay, this is something that you might want to watch for, but it's okay because of your background in construction.
Exactly.
Terrific. Well, thanks very much.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
For coming. Okay. Thanks for watching this edition of Northwest Real Estate Forum. Our passion is to help you understand the art, science, and timing of real estate because your home is your biggest asset. If you want more information about this and other shows, please visit us at northwestrealestateforum.com or stop by our fan page on Facebook, Northwest Real Estate, and join the conversation. I'm your host, Patricia Wangsness. See you next time.